was identifying, because by then there were no IDs by then. So we were gathered together with the old women, said verification of years. When were you born? Then some of us were just, putting these events. I was born during the time of this, during the time of this, during the time of this, because for us, Karamojong, we identify the years through events. So that's how we need. Then we said, okay, so and so is fit to be in this siege program, 60, because they said 60 above. So that's how I got it. The benefits actually, when it first came, because we were receiving, they told us we were receiving the first bunch of money, we received 25. These 25, we really were grateful, because for us to get the money, this 25 by then was very, it was good money. So I could buy a kilo of sugar. I could get at least even call my friends to share. I think today we have got something, call some kwete. So, and then we can also get some meat by that time. So that's how I got this money. Then I was also selling a bit of petrol, no? I would get had it to get 1 jerrycan of petrol to sell in my shop. So that's how I could get this 25. Then eventually it went. Then we were supposed to get now by 2 months, that is 50,000. And then I said, I think it was a good move. So, and it was frequent, after every 2 months, we'd get 50, every 2 months, then I would plan. Even with this money now, I would buy some books for my grandchildren, you see. That's how I began benefiting this money. And when it is time for cultivation also, I would take two people to the garden, because I'm unable to go to the garden to help my wife. My wife was not the beneficiary. So whenever I could get this money, I would also send people there to the garden to go and dig if it is time for digging, or weeding if it was time for weeding. I would also, if it is time for beginning to cultivate, I would buy seeds, yes, to go and plant. So that's how I benefited. First of all, the first challenge, in Karamoja here, the timing when this money is coming, it went on for 1 year when it was coming regularly. After 2 months, but when it went almost towards some end, then it delayed. We greatly thank the government, because for sure, as a person, I say this money, I have not gone to somebody's garden to work for it. This is really a kind of manner for us, the elders, to give ourselves, however small it is. We thank the government for that initiative.
This is a message from Expanding Social Protection, ESP, implementing the program under the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. ESP, better life chances for all.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Hello, thank you so much for keeping it on UBC TV. Welcome to the Extra. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitono. Now, in this segment, I usually have a guest, 2 or 3, with whom we discuss issues of national concern. Now, joining me this morning, I have Henry Chitambula from the Office of the President, and he is the Deputy Resident District Commissioner and he's with me this morning. We are going to be discussing yesterday, where we saw His Excellency join thousands of Ugandans to celebrate the 40th NRM anniversary at core ceremonial grounds. He talked about quite a number of things. But also, before we go into that, today is voting. Ugandans are going to the polls to elect leaders once again. Of course, we cannot do anything without having a word or two into that. Welcome, my guest. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, my brother, and all the viewers. I want, first of all, thank all Ugandans, first of all, for viewing the UBC, and then number 2, for keeping peace, and number 3, for participating in the election of the leaders. Though there are those who have not really turned up, but it's very important that we all turn up and vote the leaders at all levels, from presidency to the lowest level. Today we are electing leaders in municipalities and state divisions. So all of the divisions and the municipalities are, I think, 65.
The
56.
56.
Yes, 56. So you can see there are not so many, but these are very important urban areas. So I'm appealing to all Ugandans to turn up in large numbers and vote. It's always good to complain when you voted, because I've seen people complaining that they are cheated when they have never gone for any voting. Or from the presidential elections experience, after my voting, I went and interacted with a few young people, especially when the voting time had elapsed. And I was asking them, did you vote? What shows that you voted? And everybody was really running away from me. You see, they couldn't answer the question. So it's very important that we participate in the election of these leaders, because they are very important. The local government is very important in a way that, number 1, the councillors, the chairpersons you elect, are the ones that make policies at the local level. In fact, what we implement as central government comes from the lowest level. It's a bottom-top approach. It's a bottom-top approach, because when you go to the districts and divisions and the cities, there is what we call a budget conference. I don't know whether you ever heard about a budget conference. So people sit in the budget conference and bring ideas on what should constitute to the budget of the district, of the city, of the division, of the municipality, of the town council, of the sub-county. So if you don't elect a leader, then the budget formation there, and later on the budget implementation, we really have challenges. So it's very important that our people give priority to these elections, because these are the leaders who are nearer to them. In the case of anything, you will call the chairperson LC3, you will call your councillor, you will call your mayor, you will call your chairperson of the district. So it's important that you really elect them. And by the way, how do you make them accountable? If somebody out of the 5 or maybe 50,000 voters, 100,000 voters in an area, if somebody only wins with the 20,000 out of 100,000, then he will think maybe he's not accountable to majority. He's only accountable to these 20 who are serious. So Ugandans who are there, kindly go and cast your vote for your mayor of the division, for your mayor of the city, for your mayor of the municipality, and the councillors, so that we can have things move in the direct direction. We should have leaders who really steer these municipalities, division, cities, and the sub-counties, because sub-counties will come, I think, on 4th. So that said and done, I want to also take this opportunity.
So maybe before you leave that, Chitambula, we've had a challenge. Even this was witnessed during the presidential elections. Voter turnout. Very disappointing the way it's dwindling in terms of numbers of people who register and those that turn out on the voting day. Are Ugandans tired of elections? What can you allude this to?
I think when you look at the history of voting in Uganda since 1996, the voter turnout has never gone beyond the 73. Even in 1996, the voter turnout I think was around the 72. So it has been it hasn't been stagnant. I mean, it has been rising, reducing, rising, reducing. Last election is but 2021, I think it was around 59. This time we reduced to 52 something. Then 2016 was around 69, like that. So you can see the trend. But what I've also realized is that we need to carry out what we call civic education, so that people can get to know why they elect leaders, like what I've done in the first place. Why do you elect a leader? What kind of leader should you elect? What is the purpose of that leader you're electing? So we need really to sensitize people on some of those areas, so that they can know that it's important for them to elect a leader. The Electoral Commission only does what we call voter education, and people confuse voter education with the civic education. Voter education is just how do you vote, you see? But civic education, it goes to why I should vote, what should I vote, whom should I vote, those questions. So I think it's important that in the next 2 or 3 years, we embark on serious civic education, so that people can get to know why they are voting. I've seen ballot papers on social media. Somebody goes to cast a vote, has wasted time to go to the polling station. When he reaches there, he says, all of these ones are not wanted. For me, I wanted the sand so. So that is invalid. And we also need to interrogate more. Why do we have many invalid votes? For the record, from 1996 elections to 2026 elections, the invalid votes have been coming in the third position. So the third person, the third candidate, the candidate who gets the third position has always been getting votes that are less than the invalid votes. Even these recent elections, I think the third was Nandala Mafabi with the 209,000 something, and the valid votes were 270, I think 5 something. So you can see the trend. So we need really to interrogate, why do we have very many invalid votes that even take up the third position when we rank from the first, second, and third. So I think it's important that we interrogate. Could people be deliberately invalidating their votes? Or it's a question of low voter education? So those are the things that I think in the due course we need to interrogate, get solutions, and then see how we move.
Very interesting when you talk about invalid votes. Indeed, one would wonder, why would someone wake up, they did register, they went and picked their voter slip, only to waste time? Because that vote belongs to nobody, it's not going to be counted. Why would a person above 18? That is something really to investigate and find out. Is it intentional? That maybe there is a group of people who just choose to do that, or is it out of ignorance that a person gets there and they actually don't know what to do? Because these statistics are not very good. Most of when literacy levels have improved in Uganda since the introduction of universal primary education,
Actually, just to cut you short, what to interrogate him also is that do we have some bit of ignorance on what should be called an invalid vote or not? For example, previously, and I think even in this election, in some isolated areas, you find because of pressure, somebody invalidates a vote because somebody ticked on the photo of the candidate. Because that is valid. What is the intention of the vote? What is the intention of the
See,
vote?
that was causing chaos, Honorable.
But
sorry,
what is the intention of the
let me tell you,
of the vote?
at least
Somebody
I was at a number of polling stations.
puts a tick at the symbol. Why should you invalidate that vote?
Because previously, they were saying as long as the intention can be seen. But then intention brought challenges. That there would be why, in your opinion, you could see the intention. In my opinion, because that is not my candidate, I would say it is not clear. So they rather said, let's have a clear order. You tick in the box. Because one would say, yes, you've ticked the symbol, so it is obvious that that symbol belongs to so and so. Why would you invalidate that? Then someone will say, but this tick also, much as it went in the other box, it shows where it began from. The intention is clear. They say, no, let's have a clear standard and a basis of judgment that this is what you do. But I also agree with you, that is also challenging. There is where you see that the intention is very clear.
Yes.
Very clear. Why should you stick to a tick within that particular box of that candidate?
Or if somebody was using a mark, a thumbprint, a thumb, and then puts a ink on the thumb, puts in the other small box, and then that ink also touches the symbol, but corresponding to the tick. Why do you validate that? I think the Electoral Commission should do us a favor, and we get time, we open the invalid votes. Then we begin analyzing each invalid vote. Why was it invalid? I think that can be the basis of having the best solution to this.
Well, today is voting. Please, if you're in those 56 areas where we are going to be having elections conducted, please go and elect your councillors. Elect leaders that are so close to you, that understand your problems better, face the problems you face, and can better articulate and address them. Because if you just vote for the sake of voting, indeed, you'll have sacrificed another 5 years. But if you vote with the intention and vote the right people, then we believe they will serve you better. Henry Chitambula still with me here. Now, yesterday, we saw the president discuss a number of issues. One of the outstanding, should be said, our economy is growing. When you talk about the 7% growth is something, he said, is a step in the right direction. Let's begin with economic growth.
First of all, I welcome all of those who were in call yesterday, and congratulate the president and the NRM family for really reaching on the 40th NRM liberation anniversary. So congratulations, congratulations. Then number two, yesterday I listened to the message of the president. It was unfortunate I didn't come to call. I had some issues, but I listened to the message of the president. And on the economy, the president did say that by the time the NRM came into power, even the small economy that was there, left by the colonials, had been dismantled. So what they began with was the minimum economic recovery, to recover that economy that had collapsed. Then after that, number two was to expand that colonial economy. You remember that economy of a few cash crops. You remember the cotton, the coffee, tobacco, tea, and just some small tourism. So that economy was too small, but it had collapsed, as I said earlier, and as the president did say. So the after the recovery, then there was the expansion of that economy. And that economy was expanded through number 3, which is economic diversification. From those few economic activities, the cash crops and what have you, the government of NRM had to diversify the economy. So today, if you asked somebody the cash crops in Uganda, you can wonder how many can somebody can state, because almost
each crop now
is a cash crop.
Bring in money.
Yes, it's a cash crop. So
though we are still locked to those that we could not eat in their raw form, we had to process them as major exports. But everything, even jackfruit now is exported and brings a lot of money.
Yes, and then number those are 3. Number 4 was the addition of value. Addition of value, you can see our mangoes being turned into juice. You can see our coffee being processed and turned into something finished. Then all of those, even the jackfruit, people can squeeze it and make juice out of it. So that value addition has actually made our products to occupy the market here and abroad. I heard the president say that he was informed that there was a time, actually he's informed that there was a time when 100% of the goods in these supermarkets were goods from outside, imported. But right now, over 65% of the goods you see in these supermarkets and other shops are locally made here. Right? To supplement on the president's message, I've been telling some people who listen to my programs that when I was a pupil, when I was studying in primary, and I think a few classes in secondary, senior 1, senior 2, before NRM started really manufacturing goods here, we used to take, imagine a mere plastic cup was imported from Kenya. You remember what the cups we used to call Kempoli? You didn't use it. You are unlucky. You do be somebody who is giving me adding on my experience. So the Kempoli were from Kenya. There was a pen we used to use. That pen was opaque. It wasn't transparent. You couldn't see the ink.
We used big.
So we could call it locally. We could call it chamuogo because I think it resembled the stem of cassava. So that pen, those pens we used were all imported. Yes, I remember they could buy matchboxes, and all the matchboxes we had made in England. So actually, before NRM and just a few years when NRM had taken over power, but before doing all this, up to the value addition, all of the things we had in our households, many of them were not made from Uganda. They were imported, including a basin. You see? So when you look at the situation now, because of value addition through manufacturing, we have in our households almost 70% of the things we see and we use made locally here. So that is really an achievement. Then in number 5, he said, we are now in what we call the knowledge economy. So you can see the advancement. If you have ever visited Kachira Motors, the other time I was...
I've seen there Kayola. Kayola is very common.
The other time I was late for a certain assignment, and I got a younger man. He didn't know me. I jumped on his border. I parked a vehicle and jumped on his border. That man was telling me, Mzee, you see this motorcycle? This is what government has really done for us. This motorcycle does not use fuel. The exhaust pipe, even if you touch it, you will not get burnt.
Doesn't use oil.
it doesn't use oil, it doesn't make noise. And he was saying, by the way, he was educating me. I didn't get his number, but he was educating me. He told me, you see all of the diseases we suffer from, are from these vehicles that are polluting the environment. So if government can only have these, then we shall be secure. So he was educating me. I liked that young boy, but I didn't really pick the number. Now, he was also telling me, when you look at this motorcycle, it has some extension here. I can put goods here, and you may think I'm using a very good, a bigger carrier. You see, so, and he also told me, even the speed, so he tried to increase the speed. I said, you go slow. So you can see that there are people who are already benefiting from the knowledge economy. So when the president did mention that, for me, as somebody who is following him and following Uganda, I was so impressed. And I liked him because he said he's turning into a film man now. So whatever he says, there is evidence. Whatever he says, there is evidence. For us who grew up from Mukono and were born from Mukono, we used to pass via Namamve. What you see today in Namamve and what Namamve was like during that time, I wish we could get some of these footages of Namamve, the old Namamve, because at least we have the new Namamve now, these industries. I'm telling you, these younger people who are always confused will have what to pick from. So I think the effort of government now should be looking at getting the footages of those places where we have established factories, the old footages, and what we have now put in terms of development. I think those will assist us to show the younger people the right thing and to give them the right information on how Uganda was and what we have done as a government in the 40 years.
Chitambula, we'll be going for a break, but I want you to pound on this so that when we return, you begin with it. You've mentioned the achievements, and the Gen Zs have no objection that there is so much that has been achieved, right from them being alive. This is the truth that the NRM government, NRA government, ushered in free immunization. Many of the youth today, the problems of this very government, or the challenge, I won't call them problems, is because they are alive today. So they're not saying that there isn't what hasn't been done. But the question is, the president talked about economic growth of 7%. And of course, he said government will focus to increase it to what? But the challenge is, are we where we should have been 40 years down the road? That is the question. When we still have unemployment, though factories are there, if they're there, those that are employed there, we don't have a minimum wage. Is it meaningful employment? When a young man wakes up, goes, and at the end of the day is given 3,000-4,000 per day, when will that person buy land, plan, invest wisely? So I want us to return on that. Let's go for this break.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day, don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. Come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Aroa Pakwachi Highway in the heart of Aroa City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Exercise can't be sustained. Eating can't be stopped. It's even harder to lose weight. Come and give it a try. Ginshikang L-carnitine chromium capsules, plant extract, scientific ratio, take 3 capsules each time. The active ingredient accelerates fat burning, eat twice a day. Don't take a detour. Weight loss starts now. Ginshikang L-carnitine with chromium capsules helps you stay in shape. Please follow medical advice when taking this product. For more information, visit our website www.hgo.com or call 0800 335555.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Welcome back from that break. It's still UBC TV. It is the Extra. Robert Chirabo Newton, and with me I have Henry Chitambula from Office of the President, with whom we are discussing 40 years of NRA. Well, we celebrated the 40th anniversary of NRA, NRM, and His Excellency was the chief guest and, of course, #1 freedom fighter. Talked so much regarding the economy and a number of areas that we shall tackle as long as time allows. But before we went for the break, I asked my guest this morning, is Uganda where it should be 40 years? No doubt we've made strides. No doubt we've made a limp. But are we where we should have been as a country, as a nation?
If you are to answer that question, you should analyze Uganda from 1894. When the British...
18 what?
1894. When the British made Uganda their protectorate. And those British ruled this country for 68 years. That is up to 1962 when we got independence. Those are 68 years. But if you want to go up to 1963, because in 1963 they were still here.
Yes.
Because I think the governor left in October when we amended the constitution, and we created the 2 positions, the one of the president and the vice president. Because remember, the 1962 constitution was only giving us 1 position, or the executive prime minister. So the 68 years, let us take 62 when we got independence. When you look at what the white man did, whatever they did is not commensurate to the years they ruled this country.
Don't you think they have some exceptionals? Like by then, there wasn't even traveling was very hard. The man could move miles and miles on foot. Access communication.
And who was responsible for that? They were the leaders.
The entire African continent was more or less the same because of the challenges.
But you are forgetting that the entire East African continent was actually colonized. You are forgetting. I think it's only Ethiopia. You are forgetting that. So those people did a disservice to Africa, not only Uganda, to Africa. So our 68 years were wasted, I must say. And that's why the president talked about the small economy that were left, because it was too meager, too small.
They are working for their interests, not our interests.
Very good.
We are working for our interests.
Very good.
As a country.
So you agree with me on that area, that period, the 68 years. Now, there comes the 24 years. That is of our leaders, from Mutesa to Tito Okello Lotwa. So the 24 years, when you analyze them, were married with instability because of the politics of identity that was there. The politics of identity. For me, I'm a Uganda. For me, I'm a Catholic. For me, I'm a Protestant. You remember all those things. Although the younger people need to be told. Now, just 5 years, actually 4 years, or even less, when the British left, we saw the conflicts emerging. You remember what happened in the 1966? That conflict between the president and the prime minister that resulted into the suspension and the banning of the cultural institutions. Now, we also saw many coups, Obote, Amin, forcefully taking over power, and what Amin did in his leadership when he expelled the important business community, the Asians and the Persians. You see, that marked the end of our economy, because even the small economy that the British had built in their 68 years of rule really went down, actually collapsed totally. You see? Now, those people who were chased here ran into Kenya. And when you look at Kenya's economy now, as we were going down, as we were sinking, for them they were not only floating, but they're in the skies. So right now their economy is $140 million. For us, ours is 72. But it's running very fast. Now, let us add the 24 years of our own leaders before NRM, and the 68 years
of the colonial masters.
Those are 92 years.
Yes.
Simple scorecard. In the 92 years, you had 1,000 kilometers of Tamaka Road. 92 years. In the 92 years, you had only one university. In the 92 years, you only had one radio station, one television station. Are you getting me?
I'm getting you.
In the 92 years, we had a number of diseases that had even become part of us. We could even be proud of them, teaching our children the 6 killer diseases and so on and so forth. Right? In those 92 years, we only had around 150, 120 megawatts of power. I don't know whether you are getting me. Now, in the 92 years, Uganda was insecure.
Some parts.
Many parts. In the 92 years, transport was a challenge.
Yes.
I remember one day, we used to call them UCT buses, something like that. That bus left us for 3 consecutive days. We could come, they say it's full. But we were prepared to move. We were traveling as a family. So day one, they tell us the bus is full. Day two, we found when it had just passed, and you couldn't wait. There was no alternative. Day three, they told us it was full. So now we succeeded on day four, and we had to now go to where it commutes from, not waiting for it on the way. Now you look at you look at that. You see, even in the sports you are talking about, the sports sector, because many of our people want to do sports a lot. And one day, by the way, we need to continue sensitizing, giving people information. One day I got a young man, I will even mention his name. He's called Nsumba. Nsumba stays in Iseta. And I got that young man to drive me to Mbale. I had a workshop and my driver was sick. So, and I was using a private car. So Nsumba tells me on Tirinyi Road, sir, you mean this road was made by your government? I said, what do you think? He said, but I think it's even new. Imagine. And asked him, have you ever traveled beyond Njeru? He said, no, for sure I had not. But when they're in Iseta and Kampala, they make noise. Then he also told me that, are you aware that some people are convincing us that Nambole Mandela Sports Stadium was constructed by Idi Amin? I told him, you young man. You see? Now, that's the information they give the young people.
Henry.
And they take it.
Rightly said, we've looked at the 92 years. But I want to focus more.
I was about to tell you what we have done.
Because time is not at our best. This show has specific time. True. We may not have that time to do the 1986 and all that. But the question is, from in these 40 years, we have tremendously succeeded in a number of areas. We are exporters of peace.
True.
We go to regions where even great nations have failed, and our gallant sons and daughters restore peace in those areas.
True.
We are globally recognized as a peaceful country that hosts, I think, on the continent of Africa, we are not beyond the second in hosting refugees, even globally. We are among the first. So that means it's a peaceful country. But by and large, and all that said, 40 years of NRA, NRM, the question is, we don't want to give accountability for the times you weren't there, but give accountability for these times. Are we where we should be?
In fact, if NRM had come to power in 1894, Uganda would be very, very, very rich, very, very wealthy. So the 40 years have done a lot. Remember, even the 40 years we are talking about, at first we got some disturbances from Lakwena, from Koni, from Juma Orisi, all of those. There were many. For somebody back again, there were many. And those disturbances did cost Uganda a lot, especially in those areas where these insurgencies were, for example, in northern Uganda. Now, after securing the entire country from border to border, then all the programs that the government had reached all corners of Uganda. As we speak now, when we talk about the infrastructure, the infrastructure facilities, to begin with the, for example, electricity, from the 120 megawatts, right now we have around 2,051 megawatts with the addition of Karuma. And this power, I'm talking about hydro electricity power. I'm not talking about other sources of power. I'm talking about only hydroelectricity power. So we are now having 2,051 megawatts. The roads, first of all, even the 1,000, that had been left in the 92 years that, that I did mention, those roads were worn out. So government, first of all, had to reconstruct those roads or rehabilitate a few of them. And now, in addition to the reconstruction and the rehabilitation of those roads we inherited, we have added on 6,888 kilometers of tarmac roads. That is an achievement. You remember, I've told you the 92 years what we had, because we wanted to see.
Please accountability for
Yes,
this period.
Yes.
Let's not compare what is happening in neighbors or where we weren't. We are looking at the times.
You did history.
Yes,
history. You must know where you were, where you are, and then project where you are going.
No doubt about that.
Right? And that's what the president was doing when he was campaigning. You didn't follow him. The president could, first of all, in a district where he had gone to campaign, because he campaigned in 143 districts, because I think 2 or 3 were merged, like Kabarora and Fort Portal. But the president could, first of all, tell you what was there, what is there that has been done, and what we intended to do. Because you must give accountability. Otherwise, by the problem we are having is not telling people where we were. That is very important. When somebody looks at the internet now, the internet we have on these phones, somebody thinks that maybe the internet was there in Uganda those years. So you must tell him that this internet is not from heaven. It's not through God's intervention. It's through a deliberate effort of government to ensure that Uganda has internet. And internet is built. You don't just pray and then it happens. You see? So we need to tell people these things. So now the internet, right now, without internet, just 4 days when the internet was off, you had everybody crying. Why? Because they know that internet is very important in execution of some of the duties and also communication. So government in these 40 years has built this internet network that we are seeing. Otherwise, wouldn't be having these phones.
That's also another global trend, that it would be funny if a country like Uganda didn't have internet.
Don't we have countries without proper internet?
In the East African member states, which country doesn't have internet?
I don't know whether you can have internet network in all the parts of Central African Republic, in Somalia.
Yes, but those are war-torn countries, Chitambula.
But Uganda would have been a war-torn area if the government of NRM never liberated it.
No doubt about it. That's why I said we attribute, we export peace. That I said.
You see?
But we are saying there are certain things that we accept, global trends in modern or developing countries, that these are a must.
They are deliberate efforts.
Despite deliberate efforts, but they are a must.
Yes, listen to me. They are
deliberate, in the 21st century.
They are deliberate efforts by seating governments that are focused to their country's development and future, to put in place what matches the global trend. Right? That's why at times you find some countries having more or a liberalized communication system than others have restricted. But they are all in this globe. Right? I want to give just one scenario. In 1972, when Amin expelled the business community here, don't you think other countries were embracing the private sector? For you here, you are nationalizing, but globally, people were embracing the private sector, right? So the mistakes we did here, the leaders did, or the leader, the leader then did, had to cost this country and had to push us off the global trend you are talking about. So it's a deliberate, so don't think that things just happen because they're happening in other countries.
Well, that said, in the interest of time, because we must get out of this, but there is something very important that His Excellency talked about. He's been talking about it, and Ugandans have clearly, steadily waited to see that is embezzlement and corruption. Said maybe the new Chief Justice we were excited to see Chitambula, what has failed? The fight against corruption. That every time the Auditor General brings out her report or our report, the IGG's report, you sit and wonder. You know, when you listen to this, when you read through these reports and hear billions of money that are going, you ask yourself, but what is it that we have failed to do right? Despite some attempts, no doubt about that.
I think the NRM government has monetized the economy so much. Everything is monetized. And monetization at times comes with the challenges of people wanting to get money in all ways. People want to get money.
To survive better.
Not only to survive better, but even to enjoy leisure and so on and so forth. So that's why we are having some wrong elements that swindle money of government, money meant for development. And at times we have what we call syndicated corruption. When I was in Namayingo, I did investigate a case that involved the syndicated corruption. So you could say around a clique of officers involved in swindling. It was only 78 millions of YLP. But they could make pseudo groups. So there are groups that were involved, the leaders, officials that were involved, but we investigated it. So we need, first of all, to support the president's initiative on teaching the young people in schools patriotism. That department of Ellen Seku. Because those are the future leaders. We don't want them to be like us. They should learn that once I don't execute ABCD, for example, if I don't supervise and ensure that the health facility is built well, tomorrow when it collapses, it can affect my parent, it can affect my children, it can affect my relatives. Then if I mishandle a property of government, that property would have benefited even my relatives and so on and so forth. So I think, to me, patriotism training in schools should actually be emphasized, should be promoted, and should be mandatory. Then number two, we need to sensitize Ugandans to come up and report, especially bribery. Ugandans many of them are good at bribing and they don't report. In fact, somebody can go to somebody's office, or somebody can bypass a traffic officer, can go on a road, knowing he or she is not so correct in terms of the requirements. Then as he moves, he or she says, okay, let me put something here, so that in case I'm stopped, I can tip the person who is stopping me, and then the person lets me go. So I think we need to do some sensitization. The laws are there. For example, for me as a public servant, I must declare my wealth, my assets, and even liabilities.
Where that men have become so smart.
That is
in their declarations.
Every 2 years. Now you can be smart today, you may not be smart tomorrow, because the system was built in such a way that what you stated the other time will remain when you are declaring this time. So it will remain. So if you are
because
deceiving.
When I look at most of the civil servants, much as this is a bit secret, their declarations, many do not match with the properties they have.
Should be exposed. That's why we have the Whistleblowers Act. If any Ugandan knows a public servant, a civil servant, a politician, of course a politician is a public servant, who is hiding assets in the names of the children who are even underage, in the names of the brothers, or in any other name, or somebody under declaring what he or she has, Then there is that law of the Whistleblowers Act that can protect you in case you give government information.
Now, we must get out of here. We just have a minute or two, Chitambula. But what aren't we doing? We have the institutions. We have the laws. I don't want to believe that the few that have been arrested, the likes of Geoffrey Kazinda, the likes of Jimmy Ramafa, who served and until they were pardoned, Chandi Jamwar, I can mention a few that they were not smart enough, like the rest. But why, with all these, are we still not performing as expected in curbing corruption? Because you have all it takes in this country. Every time we see now there is arresting a person, CID goes to their home, they, media, we cover, we give all this. At the end of the day, along the way there, then you hear exonerated, sometimes lost interest, sometimes you also fail if you asked, Chidabo, tell me what happened on this case. But somehow, I think it was somehow there. What is that?
Then we need to support the president in his campaign of denying such people bail. Because at times when somebody comes out, he or she can use what he stole to frustrate the case. And that's why the president said, no, don't give those people bail. Number two, I think we have not documented all what we have recovered in terms of those who had stolen. Because, for example, I recovered the 70-80 millions in just a small area in Namayingo. But it wasn't added on what the gig recovered, what other institutions recovered. So I think if we could have a center where whatever is recovered is channeled in terms of information to the center, and the center documents, then we say this financial year we have recovered this out of what had been stolen. I think that would encourage Ugandans to report the information further. Because in Namayingo, it was somebody who reported to me that, look, there is a pseudo YRP group that the chief, the assistant cow, and the sub-accountant are using to get money. So we started investigations, and indeed we realized that these people had swindled the money. So that's how we started really going into how they have been doing it for years, because they had done it for 2 years before we went there. That was the third year, and we got them. Then, because they realized that we had evidence beyond reasonable doubt, then they asked for pre-bargaining. So in the pre-bargaining, the anti-corruption court here told them, now you accept and refund the money, then each of you is going to be fined, convicted to a fine of 2 million, and that was done. So you can see that is one case. Then in PDM, you see how we have been arresting people. So if we arrest you and you go into a pre-bargaining and we recover the money from you, all of that should be documented. So that at the end of the financial year, government, through one central department or agency, can say, this financial year we have recovered this from what had been stolen. For me, I think we are moving into the right direction, but there is a need for further sensitization and calling on the support of the masses, because somebody at the village is the one who will see somebody taking away cement that is meant to build a hospital, build a school. So if that person reports to the RDC, to the GISO, to the chairperson, to the councillor, and we get the information, then we can be in a position to curtail that kind of theft at that level. So for me, I think it's important that we call upon, we call the support of the Wananchi, because they are very important. They are nearer to what is being stolen. They are nearer to all these things that we are doing for them and for the country.
Well, thank you so much, Chitambula Henry, from the Office of the President, for having found time. Indeed, we also call upon members of the public, don't give up in reporting these people. I know Some of you believe that you do not have the power. And even if you did, nothing will change. But one great person said that at the end we will not blame the bad people, but the good who kept quiet when evil was happening. So please be accountable to your nation, to your country. Join the fight against corruption. Report, don't cease, don't give up. You never know, that would be one way through which we will bring the corrupt to an end. Have the best of your day. God bless you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda Extra.
Living a safe life is your right and responsibility in our communities.
They should have an eye checkup once a year.
First activity that we conduct is getting these young girls or women from the danger that they are facing and bringing them into this home.
Most people, the skin doesn't go off. It stopped renewing itself about 5 years ago. We make sure we follow the skin cycle.
Join me, Ishime Kathy, every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. as we discuss matters of safety in our lives on the program Safe Life.
The Senior Citizens Grant under the Social Assistance Grants for Empowerment SAGE program is Uganda's social protection flagship program, providing regular, predictable, and reliable direct income support to older persons. Since inception in 2010, the SAGE program has positively impacted beneficiaries' livelihoods, contributing to the overall national socio-economic transformation. The government of Uganda has continued to fulfill its commitment to the expansion and sustainability of the SAGE program, ensuring income security, dignity, and improved basic standard of living for older persons in all local governments across the country.
This hospital Nawogo, Kasale Village, Gombolola, Magada, Munamutumba. Chairman Wechiari Yambolira,